Hey, good morning. Actually, it's not morning anymore. Down here with twins today. Took us a little longer to get here than I thought this morning. Hi, Nina. Down here with the kiddos. So we'll give people another minute or so to get in, and then I'll tell you about this afternoon, what we're going to do for the Reiki class Periscope thing. Hi. How's Oregon this morning? Is it lovely there? It's nice and sunny here. It's not too hot, so that's good. So this morning I left late. On a typical day, I leave my house at 5 a.m. Oh, foggy in Oregon. That's cool. It takes 2 hours and 15 minutes to get here. So, here's what I tell myself, Tanya. It's not forever. They're going to get older, and I only have to do it for a little while. Although I did get the bad news just now that I'm going to have to do 2 days a week again. And 2 days a week is a struggle for me. That really does impact me that second day, because there's no days in between. So it's Thursday, and then I go home. I'm home Friday. I come back down Saturday. So that one's hard for me. I'll have to make some adjustments to figure out how to make that easier. So 1 day a week is hard, but not, Yeah, they do, and I love them. They're awfully fun to play with. So it's mutually beneficial, and we won't be driving like this forever. We're trying to get them to move a little closer, and then as the kids get older, they'll start preschool, and it won't be as big a deal. So it's temporary. That's what we tell ourselves about lots of things, right? It's just temporary. So today, this afternoon, if you guys are watching on the replay and people who are here now, we'll do a Reiki class, level 1 attunement. I feel a little more comfortable with the whole idea because I found so much available online. So at least if we're providing you stuff online, I feel comfortable. It's high quality material, and my mom has, lots of experience. I've had mine since '96, and hers was way before that. So it's not quite as creepy or weird feeling as her. Yeah, so we'll try it and see. Morgan's going to be our surrogate. So what's going to happen is we'll hopefully be on at 4:30 Eastern, between 4:30 and 5. Morgan and Sarah just left to go to the Pride Parade in Atlanta, so they're hoping to be back by 4, and hopefully we can all be settled by 4:30. And we're going to go through talking about Reiki, the history of it, some background. I'm going to give you a lot of resources. On the Facebook page, I posted a course that I found in udemy.com, udemy.com. Lisa Powers, I think. We'll talk more about that this afternoon. Her program is really in depth. Yay, Pride! Yeah, they haven't got to go in a long time, and Morgan really wanted to go, so we're babysitting. My mom and I are babysitting. Hey, Rhonda. So they can go to the parade and at least get out of the house, have a date day. So, okay, so plan on between 4 and 5 Eastern. We'll come on, we'll talk about Reiki, we'll do the attunement. My mom will do that part. So we'll have you get in a meditative state, try to have some lemon water. Definitely have some water with you, but if you could have some lemon water or lime water. Hi, Rhonda. That's helpful for the body. And we'll go through that, and then I'll demonstrate a Reiki session using my daughter to show you the hand positions. It's not complicated. I Googled Reiki hand positions last night and found a bazillion charts. Eventually, with time, you kind of stop using the hand positions because you get to know it. It becomes such a familiar process that you just know if you're working with someone in person, you just kind of know where to put your hands, and the hand positions are not that critical. They're kind of a starting place. So they're training you. What does this part of the body feel like? What does that part feel like? What does Reiki feel like when it's coming out of my hands? And you do, the best way to learn Reiki is to do a self-treatment every day, which doesn't take long. You turn it on, you practice the hand positions on yourself, and you start to get a feel for when it's running in you and when it's not. So very important to practice every day if it's something that you want to learn. You actually start with self-treatment. You start treating yourself before you treat others. Because it feels different, and you don't know how it feels for you until you practice getting quiet and saying Reiki on and feeling where it feels for you. Most people feel it in their hands, like the palms of their hands feel warm. Some people don't feel anything. They just kind of have this little intuitive sense that it's running. And then some people don't feel it in their hands. They feel like their body's sort of radiating the whole thing. And you won't know how it works for you, hey Michelle, until you practice. So you treat yourself. That gives you familiarity with the hand positions. And then it gives you familiarity with how you feel with the Reiki on, and then how you feel when it sort of trickles away because it's done for that time. So starting with yourself is really important. But we'll talk about that this afternoon. Michelle, we're going to come back this afternoon between 4 and 5 Eastern, and we'll do a level Reiki 1 attunement. I'm probably just going to title it Reiki so you guys will recognize it. I'm not trying to teach the whole world, whatever. So, for today, for our Course in Miracles, yes, between 4 and 5 Eastern. Thank you for that reminder. We are on Chapter 24, Section 2, Verse 1. Oh, yay! Yeah, you got your desire map stuff. Stress Away smells fantastic. Sometimes I don't like the smell of it, but sometimes it smells really good. It just depends. Today, the Course in Miracles is talking about comparison and how devastating it is to us, and how completely illusory it is, how completely ephemeral and ridiculous. There's no substance to comparison. It's actually like an instrument of torture that we torture ourselves with, we torture others with. Comparison is a horrible thing that we do to ourselves. So they're talking about that today. In the Holy Shift book by Robert Holden, if you're using that book, this is the only line, so let me read this to you. Comparison must be an ego device, for love makes none. That's all that's in the book. And I'm going to read you the whole verse because it's important. And we've talked about that compare and despair thing. Keeps us from being creative. It keeps us from being authentic. It makes us scared and restricted, and it's just really a good habit to get rid of. Comparison must be an ego device, for love makes none. Love never compares. Specialness always makes comparisons. And by specialness, Course in Miracles talks about special relationships as being those people that we place above others. So our loved ones, or people we're trying to impress, like our bosses, or anybody that we label special as different from others. So that's what they mean by that. Comparison is established by a lack seen in another and maintained by searching for and keeping clear in sight all lacks it can perceive. So it's looking for deficits. It's looking for deficits in ourselves. It's looking for flaws in ourselves. It's looking for flaws in our situations. It's searching out and looking for all the problems in other people. It's completely 100% geared toward finding what's wrong, which just makes more of what's wrong. Let's see. Thus does it seek, and this it looks upon. And always whom it thus diminishes would be your Savior, had you not chosen to make of him a tiny measure of your specialness instead. It's that complicated Yoda language. Against the littleness you see in him, you stand as tall and stately, clean and honest, pure and unsullied by comparison with what you see, nor do you understand it is yourself that you diminish. Pursuit of specialness is always at the cost of peace. When you go down the road of comparison, even if it's a mild comparison, even if it's saying, oh, she's great at basketball and she's great at golf, even that level of comparison, yeah, isn't it right? You're like, judge your neighbor not. And you're like, what are you? Just talk normal, okay? We can't understand what you're saying. You have a function in salvation, and its pursuit will bring you joy. But the pursuit of specialness brings you pain. The pursuit of looking for special, meaning different, in ourselves and others, inevitably leads to pain 100% of the time, because it just is. It always hurts when you compare. If you're comparing two people, even saying they're better at one thing than the other, you don't know how they're perceiving that. And they may perceive that as just a detracting from their potential. So it's never good. So it keeps clear in sight all the faults that it can perceive. So it's constantly scanning our environment for problems. That's a survival skill that we needed at one point. We still kind of need to be aware of our environment. We need to notice things that are out of place. We need to notice things that are a little off. Those are survival skills. It runs amok. Survival skills run amok when we just start treating the whole world that way. We need to notice if somebody's a little sketchy. We need to notice if, there's a strange car in the neighborhood. So it's a normal function of our brain to look and find the fault, to look and find the different. What we have to recognize is, let's leave it at that. Let's notice what's different, but then let's not take it one step forward, notice what's different, and then exclude if we don't have to. We're not talking about safety issues here. When we notice someone looks different than us and we use that as a reason to exclude them, that's when we've let our survival skill go wrong. That's when we've taken it one step further. Anyone who you compare, you've lost them as your savior. Be aware and observe can be used to find what comes up for us. Yes, it's a useful skill. So it's a good tool, but we have to use the tool efficiently and effectively, and using it to harm each other is certainly not effective. Even worse is using it to harm ourselves. When we exclude people or we label them special or different, other people are our doorway to connection, right? Other people are our mirrors of what's going well for us inside and what could be better. We need each other to achieve the total goal. So if we judge and exclude, crier. Here.
No, she's fine.
Oh, well, we have the baby toys.
No, I set her down. She
Oh.
down to get it, and I didn't see her.
She got set down. Her great-grandma set her down, and she was not happy about that. So we're fine. Hi, Linda. Between 4 and 5 Eastern tonight for Reiki. Hopefully. That's our goal, between 4 and 5. We will be on. If something happens and we don't get on till after 5, I promise you we will be here. Hard time with celebrity and how people's lives revolve around them. Yeah. Whoops. Idolization. Yes. Yes. That's bad for them and bad for us. Mostly bad for us. Yeah, I'm going to leave it up to Linda. Bye. You never understood idolization? I never have quite either. Not once I got past about 5th grade. But for some people, I think it's an addiction like any other. Love to you. Have a good day. Your package, your designer materials will go in the mail Monday. It's an addiction like anything else. So we use comparison. We don't set out to make ourselves feel like crap, but we don't feel like we're enough. So we look for that elsewhere. So we think if we're like the celebrity, we'll have what we think they have, which is money, love. Yay! We think they've got it all, right? But we know celebrities kill themselves. We know celebrities have addictions. They're no different. But the perception is that if you act like this person, if you wear the same jeans they wear, you will somehow, by osmosis, get their magic. It's completely illogical. But if you feel like you're not enough, yeah, a lot of people do. They're just normal people. They just happen to be seen by a lot of other people. Owen Wilson. Yeah, Owen Wilson attempted suicide. There's lots of people have destroyed themselves with addictions and terrible relationships and bad financial decisions. It's no different. But where they're packaged and presented to us as this is what you should be aiming for. So especially if you're a young person, you can't afford the right jeans or the right car, or if you get in your 20s and 30s and you don't outgrow that and you spend your whole life trying to achieve this ideal that's not even real, that's what they're talking about. Whether you're putting someone on a pedestal or you're putting someone down in the dirt, you've excluded the relationship you could have had. You've excluded understanding that they're your savior and you're theirs. So you've lost that all because the door is closed. If I see you as different than me and I forget that we're one, then the door is closed. There's no way that I can access the richness and the fullness of what we could have. Yeah, so it's inadequacy, it's insecurity, you don't feel like you're enough. Celebrity addictions are an addiction like any other addiction. Yeah, like bullying too. So if you spend all your time thinking about celebrities, you don't have to work on yourself. If you spend all your time letting alcohol be your idol, you don't have to deal with the emptiness. The bottom line, ultimately, we're seeking to fill the emptiness. We're seeking to find the happiness that we know belongs to us, but we forget. That's why pursuit of specialness is always at the cost of peace, whether it's so-called positive or negative. If you're admiring someone, you've made them special. If you're hating someone, you've made them special, meaning different. If I admire you and put you on a pedestal, I've separated us. So it can be positive or negative. Admiring someone and then recognizing that you have those same qualities in yourself and working to bring those forward, that's different. That's saying we're one, so what I admire in you, I must have or I wouldn't see it. So let me find that in myself and bring more of that forward because I really like that. That's different. Specialness is exclusion. And separateness creates more separateness, which that's why I always say compare and despair. Sorry guys, I forgot to turn the alerts off. Compare leads you right into a pit of despair. That's your most recent shift, and you love that. Yes, ladies, and if there's any men on here who are being especially quiet, let's see. So we can use that comparison to make ourselves feel falsely bigger and satisfied when it's not going to last. It's an illusion. The only satisfaction, the only contentment, the only true joy. He does. That's really cool. Mine watches the replay sometimes too, but I don't know how long he's actually watching. I asked him what he thought of it all, and he was like, well, if it makes you happy and it helps other people. What kind of answer is that? Like, what does that mean? The pursuit of salvation will bring you joy. The pursuit of specialness brings you pain. Looking for the good and appreciating what's going right in your life creates more. Staying focused on the bad and focusing on how terrible everyone else is just brings you more of that. So it's that old law of attraction stuff that what you focus on, you're going to get more of. What you push away, what you resist persists. So what you judge and push away in another, you're just going to keep seeing more of that. What you judge and push away in yourself, you're going to continue to see it showing up in other people. The minute you accept it and find compassion in yourself for your rejected parts, usually those dysfunctional relationships just disappear all on their own. Or you recognize them and you're able to take steps. Your mom compares. Tell her to stop it. Tell her to stop it. Oh. Yes. Comparison is horrible. It's hard on siblings when parents compare one to the other or slap a label. We've got these two little girls here. It's already tempting to start putting them in boxes. Oh, she's sporty. Oh, she's sensitive. We're already doing it, and it's terrible. Keeps talking about it, attracting more of it. Yes. And that will continue until she chooses for it to be otherwise. Stop it. Just stop it. Right. So this whole section, let me add this. Specialness is the idea of sin made real. Sin is impossible even to imagine without specialness at the root of it. Sin arose out of it. The specialness gets us so off target. It's so hard not to do that with my kids too. She's the smart one, etc. Yeah. And we can't stop it. We really can't. I don't think we can. Maybe we can. Maybe somebody out there raises their kids and never puts a label on them or never defines them. But, also, we do that. And if they're not that, they can redefine themselves. They certainly have their own wills. And, you certainly know those kids that resist every label you try to put on them. And they are like, nope, that's not my label. This is. And they tell you what's what. And that's it. Comparison has you wasting all your time and spinning your wheels and using up your precious energy pursuing an illusion. Kyle, yes. Yeah, he's not going to let you tell him what he's about. He's going to tell you quietly and stubbornly. He's going to let everyone know who he is. So, don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up. I try to maintain an awareness of it. And I also try to make space that if they show me something different, that I'll recognize it. Kyle decides for himself. Yeah. He sure does. He's lucky he has a mom that's listening. So the Course, I think another piece of the language that trips people up in the Course is not only the God and Christ and Son, traditional Christian language. It sounds harsh sometimes. So like this sentence by itself, you are not special. And you're like, well, of course I'm special. Don't be ridiculous. But what they mean is you're not special in the sense that you're above anyone else. You're not special in the sense that you're separate from anyone else, positive or negative. That's okay, Janet. The replay will be up. It's not as fun, I understand. If you think you're special, different, you defend your specialness against the truth of who you really are. You defend it. What answer can reach you when you're bound up in an identity of specialness or separateness? If I think I'm better than you, I'm never going to know the truth of who I am because I'm not going to remember that I'm actually one with you. If I think because I live on this side of town and you live on that side of town that you're different than me, I'm not going to ever understand the truth of who I am. So I'm putting a burden on you, but I'm putting a bigger burden on myself. Because I've lost, I don't understand the truth. I don't understand the reality of the world, which is we're all just different aspects. Some manifestation thing, and I can't remember what it was, but I've used it, has you pretend that you are that person who has what you want. And that's actually a good exercise, and then has what you don't want. So it's a good exercise to just practice it's just putting yourself in another person's shoes. So if you're wanting a house and you don't have one, if you play with the idea of oneness, sometimes you can trick your mind into letting go of it because you're like, well, this me doesn't own a house, but that me does. So I can relax and let this whole thing go because I actually already do own a house. It's just that piece of me and that body owns a house. It's just a little mental game. When you're clinched on to a goal and you're having trouble letting go of it to let it flow to you, you can play with that idea. Does that make sense? I don't know that I said that very clearly. Recognizing, pretending that that other person is you and has it, then you can feel like you already have it, which is going to increase the likelihood of it coming to you faster. So instead, when you catch yourself when you catch yourself talking shit to yourself or talking shit about others, you remind yourself this is a puny activity to engage in. What I'm doing right now diminishes me in a way that is absurd and unnecessary. I don't have to do this. Yeah, you're getting to that feeling of already having it. It's a mental trick if you think, well, part of me does have it. It's in a different body, but it's still me because we're all one. It's a little mental game. Why the Course in Miracles would ask you, and I would say, why, if you catch yourself doing this, why would you continue for 1 second more? Yeah, because you're so much bigger than that. You have so much power, so much more magnificence that won't ever see the light of day if you allow yourself to continue comparing yourself against others. Your work against others, your parenting against others, your children against others, your citizenship label against others. To continue to do that is like turning away a treasure. It's like Source is presenting you this gigantic treasure chest jammed full of the most awesome things, and you're like, nah, I think I'm going to have this crappy green penny that I just picked off the bottom of my shoe. Right. Yeah. I think I'm going to peel this penny that's stuck in gum on the bottom of my shoe, and I'm going to hold on to that, and you can take your treasure chest of awesomeness and stick it. Why would we do that? We don't want to do that. That's why we're here. That's why we show up every day and we work. And we practice. And we catch ourselves and we go, you don't need that crappy penny. There's a whole treasure chest of stuff for you. So let's maybe focus on the treasure chest and put the sticky penny down, okay? Just remind yourself of the oneness. Do whatever you can to feel that oneness, because when you're in it, you don't even go down the path of comparison, because you can't compare. That person is excelling and succeeding. That means you are excelling and succeeding. Everything that other person has that you want's already yours. You just have to get to where you can allow it in. And the process of allowing it in is doing whatever you can to remember how much power and magnificence resides in you right this minute, and accessing that. Yeah, walk through a store and own everything. You know, and this is true for a lot of people. You want a lot of things when you don't have money, and then you get your tax refund and all of a sudden nothing is really that sparkly. It's because you don't need it. You're not using it as a tool to keep yourself down and oppressed. We're our own worst oppressors. We oppress ourselves far worse than anyone can oppress us. The good news is, because we do it to ourselves, we can stop doing it to ourselves. We can change that. We can choose different. We don't have to shame ourselves for it. When we know better, we can do better. And we're learning to know more so that we can make different choices. That's all. It's that simple. So anyway, that harsh sounding language in A Course in Miracles is partly harsh to get your attention, and partly it's just the inadequacy of language to describe something that's indefinable. Oh, good. Very, very good. Good. Deep breath for everyone. Take a deep breath in and exhale and let your shoulders drop. That's all I have. That's a pretty big chunk of beef right there. So think about that today. Reiki is an exercise in accessing the oneness quickly and easily. It's a lovely tool, even if you never use it for anybody else. Even if you just say, I'm going to turn my Reiki on and I'm going to let it lift me up where I belong. Lift me up to the oneness, to the awareness. I'm going to let it open my awareness to the truth, the reality of the universe as it truly is. Okay? I'll be back this afternoon between 4 and 5 Eastern for people who missed that. We'll do a level 1 Reiki attunement. Yay! Holla! Practical use is what it's about, right? Oh, thanks. Morgan had her way with me yesterday. So she got me to do some highlights and then she straightened it. My hair's super curly, as you guys know. So she blew it out for me yesterday. So you won't see this again for quite a while. It's no good to us if we just think about it. It sounds rough, but I used to tell people that if all you're going to do is think about it, it's just mental masturbation. It's not doing you any good at all. You tell him, knock it off. You got important stuff to do. You got stuff to change the world. So yeah, if he drags you away, I'll leave the replay up. The replay will be up for 24 hours. It will be on Katch. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to leave it there or not. But I can always download it off my phone, put it in a OneDrive folder, and I can give you guys access to that folder. So you'll have access to the recording long term, but not everybody on the planet will. Not that everyone on the planet is visiting my Katch channel, but you know what I mean. It's for the special people. I'm kidding. I don't know. We'll see how I feel about it. No, you are. Thank you. Thank you. I really love this, being here every day. I really do. I told the girls, I was like, get the hell out of here. Go to your Pride Parade so I get to talk to my friends. You're welcome, Nina. Thanks for being here. You want to get your son into this? Yeah, the force is strong in this one. Thank you. Thanks, Sonia. Yeah, deep thoughts for today. Put it into practice. Stop the war within yourself so that everything else can stop. Change. Be different. Be truthful. Let's say that. So that everything else can be truthful. All right. May the force be with us all. And there is a new Star Wars coming out, so I hear. I'm trying not to think about it because the waiting is agony. Because I am a geek. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later today. I'm going to go play with some babies. Bye.